Gone for a while, but I ain't throw the towel. Got the cake on me now, I get paid off the vows. Stay way up in the cloud. The Kid LAROI. At only 17 years old, the Kid LAROI is one of the biggest young artists in all of music. With currently almost 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, he clearly has a huge fan base behind him. However, along with all of the love LAROI gets, he also receives a ton of hate. Now, all artists have haters and people online that just enjoy bringing them down, but it seems like LAROI gets more than the average artist. So in this video I'm going to discuss, is the Kid LAROI overhated?
My favorite thing to do in free time might not be TV friendly, so I'm gonna say I like to hang out with my friends.
So as I mentioned, the Kid LAROI is only 17 years old, and is already one of the biggest artists ever from Australia.
Yes, I did grow up in Australia. I'm from Australia. I love that place. Shout out to Australia.
Now, I first heard about LAROI way back in 2018 when he dropped his single, Blessings, on his 15th birthday. And when I heard this song, I knew it was only a matter of time before he began hitting the mainstream and really blowing up. However, I gotta admit, I did not think that LAROI would ever be as big of a name as he already is. He originally started gaining traction due to his association with Juice WRLD, who basically took him under his wing as a young artist. Back in 2019, LAROI would sign with Columbia Records and Grade A Productions, a record label owned by Lil Bibby.
I heard his music and that shit just blew me away. I've been trying to sign it for a whole year.
I got a call, and it was from Lil Bibby and G Money, and they said, hey, we want to sign you to Grade A. We're going to fly you out to New York. We're going to get everything locked in, loaded. I was like, okay. And that was my first big check that I had earned.
And as we also know, Juice WRLD was also a part of that label, so it worked out perfect that LAROI would be the opener for Juice's first Australian tour.
Make some fucking noise for my boy Juice WRLD one time.
And on that tour, Juice was able to really mentor LAROI, and the two began forming a very strong friendship.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely I learned a lot of stuff being around him and his process and how he records and moves and that type of stuff. So yeah, I definitely did learn a lot.
So following that tour, LAROI would continue to get more and more popular, and then would also link up with Cole Bennett, one of Juice's close friends, to shoot the video for one of LAROI's biggest early songs, Let Her Go, which would give LAROI more eyes on him than he'd ever had before.
For like 2 or 3 years or whatever, that was literally my goal for like the last 2 or 3 years, was just, I want to get a video with Cole, so...
But sadly, just after the Let Her Go video dropped, Juice WRLD passed away.
Like, that is what it is now, and like I said, that was my big brother, so like 2 weeks, I was just, you know, very like thinking about shit, and we just put everything on pause and just, cause like shit, that was a big thing for not just us, but for the whole world, so.
And this is where some of the hate, I think, stems from, as after Juice's unfortunate passing, LAROI began to really blow up. Not only just because of his relationship with Juice, but Lil Bibby and the guys at Grade A really started pushing LAROI as kind of the new Juice WRLD, since their styles are very similar, which makes sense seeing as Juice was LAROI's mentor and he really looked up to him, and I feel like a lot of Juice's fans moved on to LAROI. And the Grade A label and the Kid LAROI would also get a lot of backlash when they released a LAROI and Juice track titled Reminds Me of You on the exact 1-year anniversary of Juice's death. And a lot of people thought that it was not cool to be taking the attention off of Juice, and then trying to promote LAROI's music even more from it. And along with that, the song was actually originally done by German singer Kim Petras, and then Juice had done a verse on her song after its release. So what they did was actually take her completely off of the song, and then have the Kid LAROI basically do a cover of it to be released with Juice's verse. And people began claiming that LAROI essentially stole the song and tried to use Juice's name for clout. However, the original artist would take to Instagram Live to clear up some of those rumors.
I just wanted to talk about it because a lot of people have been saying, oh, they stole this song, or, you know, they took Kim's verses, and I don't feel like that at all, and it isn't like that at all. I just feel so stoked and happy that this is happening, and I don't feel at all that anyone took anything from anybody. I just think this is giving the song a whole new life.
So in terms of all of the hate that LAROI gets from people claiming that he's only blew up due to Juice WRLD's death, and that they keep using Juice's name only to push LAROI even more, I think some of it is valid, while some of it isn't. In this situation, I think if anything, his label deserves the hate rather than LAROI himself. At only 17 years old, I don't think he really has too much leverage over his label. And in the case of Reminds Me of You, I think the label saw a chance to capitalize on both honoring Juice's anniversary, as well as getting LAROI's name out there again, and went with it. Now another reason I think LAROI gets more hate than a lot of other rappers is because, well, I don't even know if I'd call him a rapper. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but I think a lot of LAROI's music would almost be more in the pop lane. He's sort of been transitioning into that Post Malone style of music, where it's mainly pop, but also has aspects of hip hop as well. I've always been a fan of LAROI's singing and the fire melodies you often hear in his songs, and then add to that his Australian accent, and I personally think his style is both unique and refreshing. Now I also know some people think he uses too much auto-tune, but I think it fits with his style of music. He is clearly very talented, and let's not forget too that he is only 17 years old. So I think if people would start to look at him less as an actual rapper, which I think some people also just hate that he is a skinny white kid, and begin to look at him more as a pop artist, then I think there would be less controversy around him. I see LAROI almost like Justin Bieber when he was his age, not only because they are both white kids with similar style hair, but as LAROI also faces so much hate, and I still wouldn't even quite say as much as Bieber got, and they both are now making some of the same style of music. And LAROI also just actually got Justin Bieber to feature on his latest hit, Stay, which is currently still the #1 song on Apple Music and is one of the biggest songs of this summer. So it seems like Bieber is almost like LAROI's new mentor, as they have both been hanging out a lot together, and LAROI was also actually featured on Bieber's last album as well.
He's one of the coolest dudes. Super nice and just welcoming, and I had looked up to him so much as a kid, and I always thought he was like the coolest kid ever. It's crazy to be able to hang with him and know him and call him my friend.
And if anyone knows how to navigate through incredible amounts of hate at such a young age, it's Justin Bieber. So to wrap this up, I do think that the Kid LAROI is slightly overhated as an artist. And again, I think a lot of the hate should instead go towards his label rather than him himself. And along with that, I would again say that LAROI isn't really much of an actual rapper, but more of a pop artist. And I think if people would start looking at him like that, then there wouldn't be so much hate around him as a rapper. But again, the internet is full of people who just like to hate. And like they always say, if you have haters, that means you're doing something right. And seeing as again LAROI has almost 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, I think he's doing something right. So that'll do it for this video on the Kid LAROI. If you haven't yet, please do me a favor and drop a like for me. And also be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for new videos every week. And I also wanted to mention that I finally started an Instagram page for the channel, so be sure to also check that out as well.
Gone for a while, but I ain't throw the towel. Got the cake on me now, I get paid off the vows. Stay way up in the cloud, looking over the crowd. Got the bag and it's loud, ain't no weak shit allowed. I was gone for a while, but I